And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Overwatch Atlantic Showdown. It has been a long 5 weeks. It's been a damn good 5 weeks, and here we are, the last game of the last qualifier. And my God, we couldn't ask for a better matchup than this.
Yeah, it's Team Liquid up against Team Solo Mid, who previously lost to Envious just last night, here to redeem themselves and here to take the last slot. A little bit sad the game we just had because Oh No, like you and Dean were saying, 3-0 doesn't really tell the story of that game, but Oh No did such a honestly stand-up job. Really, really proud of them. Hope they continue to play together. But our final match, Liquid, TSM. I had a little bit of a look at their past history between the two teams, and it's a little interesting, I have to say. Team Liquid actually have the better ratio against them, 12 wins and 7 losses against TSM. However, this last weekend, for the E-League Overwatch Open Qualifier number 2, they lost in the best of 3 series in the quarterfinals 2-1, where TSM won on Hollywood and Kings Row.
So, recent results have given us an interesting backing, I guess, for this one as well. I mean, we use interesting results to describe Cloud9's blistering run through the Overwatch Open recently, and then they almost were beaten by Fnatic, but still, it holds. I
like the interesting note of Team Solo Mid has not won a single map off Envious. They're 22-0.
You love that. Yes, you love it.
It's just like the 87-0 for NIP in CS.
I don't know how many
number you're going to have to keep going with until TSM break it. But maybe they'll have a chance at gamescom on the 21st if they can take down Team Liquid.
So let's refresh your memory on the rosters here, guys. Let's get them up for you now as well. Start with Team Liquid and give you guys an idea of exactly who we're dealing with. It is Dahang. It's not Kefri. It's Waz coming in for Kefri. So we don't really know what the idea is with that one. I haven't talked to them. Mesra, of course, in the team. AZK, Minstrel, and ID finally rejoined his buddy Dahang. They played together in Quake for quite some time, so he is proud to be back in that lineup. It's a pretty strong team. We've seen what AZK can do, obviously coming over from Counter-Strike. Very, very strong player in that one as well, as McCree is pretty deadly. And let's quickly, before the game starts, get onto TSM, Jason.
And we'll bypass the controversy between the two brothers of Torque and Nicholas because they've been performing well, but so has the rest of the team. Joe Meister, JKW, Shake, and Harblue, that flanking, annoying Roadhog that always, if you're playing with them, will make you lose. But in his case, he makes his team win by catching people off guard and landing those hooks.
So it's basically when you play with him, you lose. You play against him, you... No, if you play with him...
You lose, and if you play against him, you lose.
You lose.
Yeah. But hopefully for TSM's sake, for all the fans out there that are chanting TSM, hopefully they will be able to pick up a victory here.
Yeah, and your cousin's in the team as well, Jason, so that's good to see.
Yeah, Jackson Kaplan. We got a Jordan Kaplan, we got a Jeff Kaplan, we got a Jason Kaplan, we got a Jackson Kaplan, and we have an Eric Kaplan in TV.
We do as well.
Taking over the world.
Sorry,
One nose at a time.
I think Jeff Kaplan has just inserted his, like, maybe his younger clones into everyone just to make sure Overwatch, like, gets there, right? He's got some players.
Are you saying I'm a clone of him?
Yeah, like, you're part of him, right? You're, like, his brainchild, essentially.
At least you call me young.
You come in to make sure the casting is passable, and then he puts Jackson Kaplan into a team to make sure TSM is good in Overwatch, so like, Overwatch has a good reputation, and then he puts, I don't know, he's just spreading his influence, you know? It's like,
at least I don't talk about putting a frog in a sock. But we're live with Kings Row. Let's drop in. Let's not give Mitch a chance to talk about this because we have Team Liquid on the defense and Team Solo Mid on the attack. And at the moment, JKW is going to be sitting on Widowmaker and Harblue is sitting on Hanzo. There's a good chance they actually might keep the Hanzo. The Widowmaker, though, is a little less likely.
Yeah. I mean, I think on Temple of Anubis, it was Buds who would pick it for like the first pick and then just switch off when he didn't get anything. So Solo Mid might try and get a shot or something with that one. It's like the same idea with the Hanzo first pick. I don't know if Nicholas is going to play Junkrat here, but if he does, I'm going to be very
keeping
pleased.
the Widow.
Oh, baby. And the Junkrat. Ah, here we go. Torque and Nicholas, the brothers in arms, in crime, and in blood. Let's see what they can do with these two odd picks.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to make the Widowmaker work and the Junkrat, actually. But if you can kind of force him into a tight area, back towards that archway, then obviously Junkrat can do some mean work here in terms of sieging. Even Harblue able to jump across. He's looking for that Lucy. He's looking for Minstrel. And Minstrel gets hooked from under, but he's able to survive.
Yeah, he wasn't obviously pulled over the edge there. He was well enough away. He's still got hooked, though. That's nasty. The one that got away. Harblue may always remember that one. We'll have to see if it'll be a painful memory or a good one. Nicholas now up on the ledge as well. You can see that Solo Mid have managed to get right up behind Liquid. Nicholas, though, not actually able to do so much damage here, but maybe a chance here as IID and the rest of Liquid are pushing up this narrow staircase here. Dahang forced to take cover from the rain of grenades, and Solo Mid are on this point. This is the most bizarre attack I've ever seen on Kings Row to start off.
Both teams swapping sides here, but finally, Team Solo Mid's able to get some decent progress. 2 people to play. It's still being captured. Torque is not being disrupted. He picks up a double kill. Minstrel and IID gonna fall down. Dahang's gonna die as well. And AZK's finally able to turn one back in their favor, but he quickly meets his demise to Torque, who now has the infra side up. And this Widowmaker has worked out.
Is this real life? this is ridiculous.
Just fantasy.
Caught in a landslide. Okay, no. Look, the fact that Nicholas now
reality.
switching over, don't you dare, because I can't stop. Nicholas switches over towards the Reaper here. Talk will switch now. So we use the infra site to at least give his team the information of where Liquid will be setting up, and then he goes back to McCree. Talk, where's your American skin, mate? Get it together. I got one, by the way. I got the USA McCree.
You mean the Canadian one? Because if I mess up flags, you sure as hell better too. But Team Solomid, they're pushing through. JKW, he's got Earthshatter up and ready to go. Team Liquid, they're going to have a Transcendence. So honestly, Dahang needs to stay alive for the most part. He needs to knock an Earthshatter down. However, JKW with the Discord Orb on him gets taken down to about a third HP. And look at the charge come through. There's the Earthshatter. There's no shield to block anything. And Shake's able to turn one kill, but Waz is coming through.
Yeah, and then Hablu is able to put the shield on the rest of Solo Mid as they come forward as well. Transcendence from both sides being used here, but Hablu somehow finds himself, he comes to, the blood drains from his eyes and he sees it's in the back line and he just keeps on fighting. He doesn't even care that he may be slightly out of position, but he may be punished. No, Waz can't get it done. However, Minstrel chimes in. Minstrel a little bit lacking in the teammate department though. That's the issue for him, as Solomid win that fight and move this payload forward. I don't know who Waz is. I'm not sure where he's come from yet. First of all, nice name. In British slang, it means to go to the toilet, to do a #1. But he is showing up on this so far through this series. Even the last game, he was really, really good. Waz.
Thanks, Mitch, for that great information.
And the
flashbang Earthshatter comes through. Torque takes on AZK. JKW is going to take down Mezar. And just like this, Team Solomid have halted any sort of defense out of Team Liquid. We're sub 3 minutes. This could be Team Solomid taking home a quick time.
This is some nutty stuff here as well. We said Kings Road can give us some of these crazy results where teams finish super, super quick. This is blisteringly fast from Solomid. They're like a comet just passing through, just passing by. May only happen every 75 years, but right now is when they need it to happen. And now they're going to be pushing up with that Reinhardt shield as well. Aggression coming in as well. You can see the Graviton Surge comes down. Nicholas gets himself forward. That's exactly what Solo Mid need. Gets a fifth on top of that one with JKW chiming in, but he's more of a footnote to the Reaper Copter flying straight through, and Solo Mid are getting it over the line here as well. And just a few moments here, we'll have it now. Liquid full stall mode.
On the AZK does actually halt this one up, but Joe Meister popping the sound barrier down, able to get them extremely healthy. The Graviton Surge is going to come through, but look at Torque with the ability to pick up 4 kills potential. They're all sitting around the pale. They get knocked out, but he doesn't get a single kill. But JKW swinging the hammer, swinging it down, and closing out this first half.
That's it. AZK as well, just trying to keep it in stasis, but it ain't going to happen. 3 minutes and 41 seconds. Team Solomid show up, and they make a big statement on their attacking half of Kings Row.
Team Liquid, what are they going to do now here, Uber? On this attack, how is that a time that they could potentially beat? Team Solomid didn't get held once. They took the first point in a wonky attack, we'll give them that.
It was interesting.
But from there on, they were always winning the fights, and they were keeping this momentum going. Even at the end, Nicholas pitting that ultimate onto 4 people to help close that one out. Team Liquid have to feel that pressure. Remember, it's a best of 5 though, so if they let one map slip away, it's still going to be okay. But they cannot afford to let this momentum switch towards Team Solomid since they just played last weekend, and TSM did win 2-1.
And it's not even like Solomid picked this map. It's not like it's their pocket pick. This was obviously designated map for this round. You start on the same map in this round in general. So,
but they did beat them last week on Kings Row too. So that's actually a good sign. And you would assume Team Liquid would be able to look back on that match and be like, what went wrong? What can we tweak differently? But with how Team Solomid just played, I don't think there's really any stopping them. I don't think it was like a strategy part of your team. It was just them being all on fire. And they've been waiting this whole time to play.
Yeah.
It's not like they've been warming up or anything like that.
Or all day for them.
Yeah, I was going to say, all night. They're not in Europe. But Team Liquid, they're running the Pharmacy combo. So it looks like we're going to see Pharah, Mercy. And it looks like Waz is going to be going Genji. So they're going for something a little bit different. They're going to hit the point ideally quickly, though. They're only running 1 tank, which would be really dangerous.
The fact that they keep Waz on the Genji, like you pointed out there, is really interesting. I mean, Team Liquid obviously lack a little bit of beefiness, safe to say, but if Mezra can get his job done and get the backline and maybe just isolate JKW away from the squishy heroes like your Shakes, like your Talks in some sense, then ID can do so much work from that position. I like this. Something different from Team Liquid. They're trying to respond to Solo Mid, who just completely blew them away. And Pharmacy is going to be the way to open things up here, Jason. 3 minutes and 41. Not an easy time to match at all. Probably the hardest I've seen. Let's see how they go about it.
Yeah, they pretty much have to successfully take this point on the first attack if they want to be able to contend that time. And IID just running straight through on the high ground here, able to rain down rockets from the sky, getting a lot of good ship damage in and force them into this tight area where rockets are even going to do more damage from the splash. And that's going to be 2 quick kills. Team Liquid, this is looking good.
Absolutely. ID causing so many problems from up above. Maybe Mainly with Solomid not expecting them to be a Pharaoh. They didn't really set themselves up to deal with airborne threats like this in terms of their positioning. They didn't respect that someone from Liquid could get over the top of them and rain down from above. But that's exactly what's happened here. Now, Iodine might not be dominating that scoreboard, but I guarantee you he's gotten plenty of damage down. Barrage is already ready to go, and Liquid are wasting no time in surging ahead.
Yeah, the problem now is if he goes up and barrages early on, or like really soon, it's not really going to offer you too much because the payload is so far back. They have to move this one up first. They've got only 2 people on the payload while the rest are on the attack. And this is definitely possible. But Team Solomid, they know. You can bring up the Divas, bring up the Tracers, just buy time. That's all you have to do with how quick they finish the first half. It's not like you need to win any of these fights. You just need to drag them out as long as you can.
Exactly, and that can change the mindset, like you pointed out there for Solomid as well.
Oh,
can make you more aggressive.
He's behind them. That's a free kill on a Torque as well. The Deadeye is available. He's not using the barrage to be able to come through to buy him enough momentum and enough steam to actually keep this payload going, as that's going to be Joe Meister falling. Harblew's the only one to pick up a kill, and Nicholas, you're just out of position. He's going to fall as we just try to stall the payload down, and that's what we need to see. Liquid, don't tell me they're going to beat this time at 3:41.
I mean, it's within the realm of possibility, Jason. I don't want to get my hopes up for this one, but that was perfect. AZK goes for the one hero on the side of Solomid that can really threaten ID. Torque was never in that fight. So what are you going to do? Well, Harblew's going to try and connect right clicks on towards a Pharah. JKW hopes for a lucky fire strike. IID had the run of the show, was untouched, had Mercy for healing, but Dahang was probably just damage boosting there as well because the threats to that Pharah were so minimal. But now AZK going in for another Deadeye, gets stunned up amongst that one now, rolling towards the left side as well. Now going back in towards Torque, gets him as well. This guy's got balls of steel, but Nicholas comes back in there as well. Shake and Nicholas gets his second. Solomid can solidify, but hey, Mercy also has a res. We almost forgot for a moment there as well. Liquid able to keep fighting, but it's likely this wave will go down as well.
Yeah, that res, he didn't get ID, he didn't get Minstrel, he didn't get, he didn't get ID or Waz. He got Minstrel on that one, but that's not what you're going to need. You need the 2 big damage dealers for your team up. And that will be the initial hold. So it comes down to this. Can Team Solomid just hold them up?
One more hold.
Another 20 seconds. They even need to win this fight. They just hold up for another 20 seconds, and it almost should be impossible unless they somehow all disconnect in this final push.
Yeah, that's right. And this changes the way you play for Team Liquid as well. You know you have to be hyper-aggressive. You know you can't really set up. You can't afford to, I don't know, do things like take high ground and do all that junk. So Torque takes down ID to start with. That's why you have the McCree in this composition. That's why AZK was supposed to pick him off as often as he could. At least he gets on towards Nicholas and gets now a second, but Torque's still doing the same kind of job on the other side of the fence. Mesra falls, Shake may fall to AZK, but the gun-toting wild man doesn't have any teammates to rely on here as well. He has the Harmony Orb, he has the fact that he can dodge around the corner, but he doesn't have time. Precious seconds leaking away, and Liquid, there's no way they can win from here.
Yeah, as time just continue to tick along, as this payload is being contested, that's pretty much solidifying this, because even being pushed alone, not interrupted, there's just no way you can finish this one off. So Team Solomid will be up now 1-0 in this best of 5. And Team Liquid, pressure's on. What map are they going to choose next? Because they do have choice.
That was a very quick map. My lord. Great stuff there. GGs do come out there as well. ID and the Co are calling it. There is no time. And Solomid, that is a nigh unassailable time. I mean, I would even say that Liquid's first push was excellent. And even the way they played through the streets phase for the most part was also good.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. But you can't expect to win on a decent attacking side if you can't put up a defense. Like, you need to be able to play both sides effectively, and they didn't stop Team Solomid once. So that they pretty much lost on the defense. If they, let's just say they attacked first, they actually potentially could have won that map, but that's how it's going to go. And we do have our next map now available.
Yeah, so it will be Hollywood, but before we get on to that one as well, the attack that we saw from TSM was, by today's standards, or our current standards, completely bonkers. Torque came in as a Widowmaker, stayed on the Widowmaker, got in position and got all these picks, right? No, there was no one to really challenge him out. And then Nicholas as well. He had teamed up with the tank player there as well, JKW. They worked right around the back of Liquid, forced Liquid in under the building, and we saw them grouped up as 4 trying to challenge sort of JKW and Nicholas, but it was a Junkrat. So much damage then was put down by Nicholas being able to spam towards him there as well. It was the weirdest setup I've ever seen, but it worked. There's been nothing like that I've seen in the last couple of weeks that comes close to that kind of strategy.
Yeah, I think most people have been kind of like content on just using like the standard, the cookie cutter builds, what people are using, the setups, and just attacking the way everyone else attacks. We haven't seen many teams really pull anything new. But now with obviously this $100,000 tournament, with the Overwatch Open, $300,000, people are going to start coming up with these new unique strategies, and they're going to be using them at set times where they need to win games. Play standard all you like until that moment comes up where, all right, guys, we need to win this map. We need to win this series because we could be out of the whole shebang if we don't.
The whole
shebang. They did, yeah. That's American, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
Is
I
it
know that
Australian?
one as well. Yeah.
God.
See, that was
It's not a frog in a sock, but it's close
No,
enough.
it's not a bum steer either. That I said that was an American phrase. That is an Aussie one though.
Yeah.
As well. It is. I don't know why. It's Aussie and New Zealand.
I'll give you this. I'm impressed at how many phrases you do know. Way more than I do.
But that's almost become our thing. It's like I say a phrase you don't know. You pause for 5 seconds and give me a dirty look like midway through the game. And then I plead with you just to give it to me, and then we continue. That's always like that's our aesthetic now, Jason. That's our life.
It's our relationship.
Yeah, pretty much. It's an interesting one.
So Hollywood, coming up next. This was another map that was played in the best of 3 between TSM and Team Liquid, and TSM did take this map last weekend. So
it's all kind of coming up Millhouse, especially when this map was picked by Liquid as well. They chose this map.
So again, if you're Liquid, you have to have been prepared for this. Like, please tell me you've watched the VODs of you guys against Team Solo Mid. Even then, though, even though there's only a week of difference between then and now, and not even a week since it was Saturday. Sunday was the quarterfinals. You haven't had that much time. You've had what, 4 days? 4 days to practice, actually seeing what they did, and by the time you maybe figured out what they do and how to counter it, well, that means Team Solo Mid's had 4 days to practice and change things up.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this was the map that Liquid were held by Energy as well on the Wild West phase. If we can cast our minds back. I wasn't actually casting that game.
Was I casting? Yes, I was casting it. Yes. Yes, Liquid did not actually get out of the Wild West phase.
Right. So
it's been a long 5 weeks. Sorry, there's just so many games floating in my head.
But what I find interesting about that, take the fact that they were stopped by Energy, and then the fact that they also recently lost to TSM on this map. And if you just do maybe a qualitative analysis of the situation there, I'm not really super confident in Liquid on this map.
Yeah.
And what else do we have to go off of, really?
I'm trying to think, like, Energy... So Energy played really stagnant, in my opinion. Like, they played the same heroes every time. They didn't change things up. They didn't try to do too much crazy.
Except the Ana stuff on their attack.
Except the Ana stuff, which they only used like once or twice in the whole series. Team Solo Mid, I think maybe they feel like they're more comfortable with. They've actually played against Energy way more, and actually the scoreline between the two teams is like now 17-4 in terms of maps, where Energy have 17 wins and Team Liquid have 4. But between these two teams, it's a lot more equal. It's a lot more even. So I think maybe Team Liquid are confident that they can push this map against Team Solo Mid, but if they fail here, they're 1 map away from being knocked out. Yes, it will be their choice, but you've got 1 hybrid map left, and that's going to be Dorado. Or 1 payload map left, and that's Dorado.
And that may well be a coin flip. But before we get to that one, of course, it is going to be Hollywood. Let's jump into the map now as well. Map number 2, a chance for Liquid to even things up. But history, at least recent history, definitely favours Solo Mid. If you look at the numbers and you look how Liquid performed against Energy, it's not exactly been an overly impressive. It's been a bit of a damning indictment, actually, of Liquid. Let's see if they can brush off their issues from earlier on this evening and show up here against Solo Mid, who look like they're innovative, and not only that, but they're confident in executing these bizarre strategies.
I mean, honestly, Mitch, I would be disappointed if we end the series in like a 3-0. To end the entirety of the qualifiers. You know, to have our 16th team
if I go home
in
before the sun's up, I'm not happy.
Yeah, you went home at like 4 a.m. yesterday?
4:30.
Yeah, there you go. I was at home, all comfy in bed by then, playing Overwatch, actually. Yeah, I hope the series goes all the way. I mean, because this is a good prelude. Like, honestly, both regions are really strong. I feel like Europe probably has more of the top teams. Not the best team, but has more of the top teams. But there's damn good teams in North America, as you're seeing with Team Liquid and Team Solo Mid, your last two,
and
go head-to-head.
It wasn't that long ago that these guys were Code 7. They were Code 7 before they got picked up by Gale Force Esports, and then went back to Code 7. And they were kind of like, oh no, as well. I mean, they had players that with reputations from previous games and stuff like that, but they were still just a mix-up team.
And even then, Hardblue left Gale Force and then rejoined Gale Force. So a lot of odd stuff within the team. But let's see how they do on the attack. Hardblue going to be on the Zarya. Not going to see a Roadhog this time, unfortunately.
Best skin in the game, by the way.
It is great skin.
Long Zarya, best Zarya. All right, well, let's see what happens now. We do have... Man, she lives more than I ever could, so that's enough of an excuse for me. But Solo Mid now just be setting up for this push. JKW falls way too early to ID. Must be some right-click spam that took him down. Oh, well, put on the brakes and hold up. Team Solo Mid are going to have to wait for JKW to return before they even push in.
And even Hardblue, like, turned around to do a 180 to help.
He's like, you what, mate?
Well, that was before he even died. He like died in his vision. I'm not sure exactly what caused that, but either way, he's back in the party. He's back in the mix here to make this attack work. They're being sped up. Harblue's got some really good energy to work with at 88 currently, and he's looking for the focus. He sees the Discord orb, but instead he wants the McCree. He wants AZK, and he's going to have him.
That's nice. Mesra as well going to fall to Shake, but AZK going down to Harblue's definitely a good start here for Solo Mid. Nicholas chimes on in, as does his brother Talk on towards ID. And our solo mid seem to have a little bit more solidarity on this point, if I may use the word a little bit flippantly here. It's going to be Nicholas now just to chase down Lucio, who won't last long. It will be Minstrel. He won't be playing any songs for now. He will fall. And now Nicholas to finish off to hang. That point now taken by solo mid. 1 minute 20 seconds or thereabouts in. Not too shabby after a bit of a blooper start.
So do you want to count that a first take, or first push take?
Yeah, because they didn't go through the arch. I'll give it to him.
They did it. It took, you know...
Oh, rip.
It took a little bit of time, but they did nonetheless, and they look confident doing it. In the meantime, Team Liquid are going for the high ground control. They're looking for the Wild Wild West phase to put up a good defense, and before, against Energy, they really struggled on attack and defense here, so they're going to need to really come together, and that might come off the back of ID and the Graviton Surge, not to mention Mesrar. He's going to have his Earth Shatter. But you can already see Team Solo Mid are prepared for this one, ready to actually counter it when the time comes. Nicholas is hiding away, ready to use that Death Blossom. And Team Liquid are letting this payload go so far before attacking.
Okay, Graviton Surge is going to come down now as well, and you can see that no time is wasted. Mesrar going to be jumping straight on in there as well, and so is White's getting some damage from the back line, but ATK gets a quick 2 talk, can't respond in kind, he's knocked to the ground, and he won't even have a chance to pull the trigger. It's going to be Harblue pushing now back as well. Now needs to try and deal, of course, with that opposition. Zaya, and it will be Liquid, and hold on.
There you go, so Team Liquid have been up and able to put up a defense torque. Look what he's playing.
Yep, he's done it. He's playing the Widow. I thought it would be Gods the first guy to see on Widow in this tournament, but no.
He's pulling a Justin Timberlake. He's bringing Widow back.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
You have to, because they're so bad that eventually when I get something decent, you have to give it to me.
Freebies here and there.
Yeah. He's looking for some shots on King's Row. He did phenomenal. So far, he hasn't really had the opportunity with everything around him. Waz popping off Death Blossom and picking up 3 kills. And Team Liquid are going to hold again. Torque's not going to be able to provide too much. And that's a full team wipe.
Yeah, and that's the second one consecutively. Well, not a full team wipe, but it's the second fight win for Liquid we've seen consecutively here at this point. Not good news for solo mid. To be fair, Liquid are very diligent in setting up on the high ground. They insist upon it, in fact. Now they've already made their way back up topside. Team solo mid, so they bring Harblue in. They swap off the Zarya, bring in the Winston, and Nicholas now playing on the Tracer. They've even got Torque switching over towards Genji. So a lot of switches here as well. Will it work out, though? Because JCK's got a great little vantage point here as well, and solo mid aren't really giving him the respect he deserves, perhaps, yet. Now Harblue jumps towards and gets picked up there by the Deadeye. AZK still free to plug away with the Peacemaker. And there's a 1-1 trade at the moment. Nicholas gets on towards Dahang. That's a good little pick off there. Nice assassination. And now AZK is forced back there as well. Can't get past the shield of JKW and must go down.
The payload's still moving to the most part. Graviton is just coming through, but it's really not going to do too much when you have Shake with the Transcendence available. And Nicholas is just looking to do some work with his brother Torque. The Genji Tracer combo of brothers is insanely deadly. The synergy between the two players must be ridiculous, but this should be the payload taking the next point. Team Liquid don't have enough men to contest this one. About 4 minutes and 7 seconds of time. They will now be in the home stretch.
Do you know what I want to see? I want to see solo mid get to Gamescom just so we can have Torque and Nicholas versus Wins and AKM.
Oh dear lord.
That would be sick. 2 brothers, well, 4 brothers I guess. 2v2. I want to watch that.
Playing Lucio ball.
Hey mate, that should be our decider. No more of this best of 3 Nepal nonsense. Let's go to Lucio ball and let it be done. Teams can nominate their best 3 players. We just play a game of that. That's the future, Jason.
Well, you realize overtime doesn't tick down.
Yeah, it stays like that.
So we could be sitting there for an hour casting FIFA. In the meantime, ID going to charge straight through. Look to contest his payload to buy some time for his team. And that's going to be Mesrar jumping straight back in himself. Sorry, Harblue jumping back in. He's going to pop the Primal Rage as well, looking towards the backside. He's discorded up, but look at this. Why is ID actually focusing him down towards the back instead of holding that front line?
Yeah, Mesrar goes down there as well, so Liquid lacking a bit of a tank there as well. They're going to keep going back into this one now as well. AZK tries to get a Deadeye, but the Sound Barrier comes in. Going to say the big no, and the Dragon Blade comes out, but Torque is stunned just a little bit short. He's going to chase Cypher him now as well. He's got the dash reset if he needs it. At this stage, it may not be the case. He eventually finds AZK. In fact, it was Joe Meister that finally put the nails in the coffin of that player. And now quickly we do see Waz trying to get on towards the payload, hold things up, but it's not going to be enough. And solo mid are not far away at all. The end is in sight, light at the end of the tunnel. Let's see if Liquid can snuff it out.
Do they have anything to stop this, to be honest? They might be able to drag it on for a little bit longer, but can they actually get a full wiper? There's the Earth Shatter coming through, but it gets blocked up by the Winston Shield. Even a Transcendence out of Zenyatta, out of shade just to join his team, as this Transcendence eventually is going to fall away, but it doesn't matter. The kill feed is all red, and Team Liquid will not be able to hold. Team Solo Mid should be able to finish this.
Yeah, I think so. It's just, well, it's just the one tank left there on the payload. It was IID there for a moment. No chance for Diva AZK. Don't get ahead of yourself, my friend. 5 minutes 51 is the time. Solo Mid set here on the attack, or 49 if you're squishy. Pretty darn good to start things off here. A decent time, especially on a map that Liquid have shown they have the tendency to stall out on.
All right, so next half here. Team Liquid going to be on the attack. And Team Solo Mid on the defense. What will TSM pull out? Will they go for anything tricky? Nicholas has been showing that he's been able to play pretty much anything. He's been Tracer, he's been Reaper. And even Torque has the potential of playing maybe a defensive Widow, though I feel like McCree is going to be a little bit more valuable than that.
Yeah, he's a bit more robust as well. I mean, he can do much of the things that Widow can, and then have peel for himself if he may need it. So, again, like I like Liquid's insistence on the high ground here as well. Sometimes defensive teams don't have the chance to actually get up there as well, because you have to go through this really quite unenviable process of waiting for that freaking elevator to come down so you can stand on it. But once you get up the top there as well, it's a pretty hard position to beat. Speaking
of that, actually, the elevator, I remember seeing in a Discord channel with a lot of the pro players talking about ways to circumvent that by adding in like actually a staircase that wraps around the building, so you don't have to depend on the RNG or the timing of the elevator. Yeah. Instead, you can run around, but you still have to run to a position where you can be seen from this doorway to change things up to make it more reliable to get on the high ground for some teams when you don't have a leap ability.
Yeah, I brought that up actually in the last time we saw Hollywood RNG, that sometimes you sort of rock up and, well, the elevator's on the way down, and that can cost you precious seconds, especially if an attacking team is really nipping at your heels and chasing you as you try and set up as defense. Sometimes you just get screwed out of not being able to put up a proper high ground hold, and that really is just not a good situation at all for a defensive team. It's by far the strongest strategy here. And that's why we've seen attacking teams invest so heavily into trying to take that high ground for themselves with, you know, Divas and Winstons and such. So let's see what Solo Mid does here. It's going to be Torque and Nicholas. It's going to be Reaper and Genji. And Harblu going to be on the Roadhog.
So they actually switched away from the McCree. Torque does want to go for the Genji's field. He's up against Waz, who had a really good Genji up against NRG just before, when we saw them on the second match of the day. Meantime, they're looking for an avenue to attack, and they're all depending on Mesrar to actually be the shield for them, as even Waz is not being disrupted, but gets smacked down by JKW here, and it's just a 1-for-1 trade so far.
Yeah, so far, not so bad for Solo Mid here as well. They are trying to hold this one off there. Joe Meister finds Mesrar and IID. He's looking for a target. He sees someone that's discorded, but slowly steps out of range of their left click. Now he's trying to get up close into the back line, but everyone seems to be avoiding him for the most part. Now he might be able to get some of those right clicks down, but he's going low. Got discorded up there as well, and even Dahang couldn't keep him alive with the Harmony.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for Team Liquid to fail on that first attack, as now a minute's going to be passing. And honestly, with how their performance was against NRG on the attack, minutes can mean a lot. Even seconds can mean a lot for them. But look at this. Again, we're seeing something wonky. They're actually coming directly behind them, trying to catch off the people on the respawn. And this should give them the man advantage coming into the fight.
That's really interesting strategy there as well. Cut off the reinforcements, cut the snake off at the head, and then deal with the body. That's kind of the way it's going to work out here. Now, Waz backs away a little bit on this Genji. We do see Transcendence being used up on that point, and JKW wasn't able to benefit from that in any way. And Graviton Surge being used by IID there as well. So much about catching people, more about making a statement at this stage by the looks of things, but still things seem to be going well for Liquid.
And IID just backing away as the Transcendence was being used, and Team Liquid will successfully be able to take the point after 2 attacks in about 1:45, 1:50 in time. So, now TSM, with Team Liquid sitting so far back, keeping the 3 men on the cap, they have the opportunity to actually set up for a decent position. Harblu actually takes down Mesrar as he pushed a little bit too deep probably. He probably wanted to switch heroes anyway, so not too big of a deal. Probably going to go to Reinhardt now, I'm assuming. But that still gives 0% to Team Solo Mid.
It also means if you're Reinhardt who wants to set up on the high ground, you best hope that that elevator is in the place you want it to be. Otherwise,
you actually sticking to it.
Yeah, maybe because he didn't have enough. Think he had enough time to get up there, you know, just by foot if you were playing Reinhardt. Those few seconds make a huge difference in trying to set up there, because when you're trying to get on the lift as the defensive side, you're super vulnerable if the enemy team pushes up enough.
Cool. Let's see what Torque is going to be doing. Looks like he already picked up a kill on Dahang. Probably a triple headshot coming through out of his shurikens. IID only had 20 energy, just trying to spam away with these right clicks, trying to force someone down. The Diva is going to be a big frustration for him. However, he can counter it decently well. Waz is going to be popping the Dragon Blade, looking to go through. Torque's going to fall. So does Joe. And Waz is going to get the reset off. And it looks like the area that held Team Liquid back before, it's not going to happen a second time. And they should ideally be able to get around this corner to the second point.
Yeah, this fight's going really well for them, Matt. In fact, this whole stage is actually doing really quite well for them. Look how quickly they're going. The camera, as it follows the payload along, is capturing just a scene of decimation here, as Liquid have won the last, well, 2 fights in a row here. And Solo Mid may not even be able to properly defend until just outside of Goldstra Studios, which, as you can see, does not have a lot of cover in general. be a little bit hard to defend properly, or adequately anyway. Sound barrier comes down now. This is going to be for solo mid here, so keep themselves alive, but the self-destruct comes in. Waz can't really block that, mate, but that's fine. He's going to be able to get away with it here now as well, and Harblue's going to go hunting as well. Looking for Mezra, gets Mezra. Now going to head even further. Doesn't quite finish him off there, as I did miss that one. He's going to be set out of his suit now. Bunny Blaster may not be enough to get the job done here as well, and we heard a Graviton Surge used in the back there. That came from Liquid, as IID lazily flicked that over the shoulder of the attacking Diva.
But they're still buying time. The team's still a bit, yeah, they're not winning fights, but they're buying a hell of a lot of time. We're going to hit about the 4-minute mark, which gives just under 2 minutes for Team Liquid to finish off this map, and TSM are going to have the respawns they need to put up a defense here. But will they have the ability to make it happen? That's the question.
So far, Solo Mid have shown us absolutely nothing in terms of their defensive fights here. They've really struggled a lot. And to be fair, if you're Solo Mid, that was the fight you could have made something happen. There's not much cover there outside of Dolce Studios, so if you do have a self-destruct there as well, Harblu, in my opinion, is the master. He's not the David Beckham of self-destructs. See, he bends the suit around corners somehow. I don't know how he does it. Saw an amazing play from him on Gibraltar maybe about a week ago on the Overwatch Atlantic. But still, that's beside the point here now, as Tokyo having to back away, gets just zapped on down by Mezra. Probably a shocking end to his little tirade. And ID going to come back in. JKW falling down there as well. And this is just not good at all. This is a nightmare for Team Solo Mid. Waz now causing him more problems. Gets into the backline there as well. Solo Mid haven't managed to stand up to Liquid at all in this map. After such a good attacking side, Jason, they're getting trashed.
And Waz is still this far pushed up as 3 people are sitting back on the payload here. TSM are even going to be able to get out all in a group here. They're still struggling, but here we go. Team Liquid looking for the final push to Hanks and use the Transcendence to stay alive through the pulse bomb. Transcendence being used out of Shake as well to counter this one, but the kills are not coming in just yet because of the healing. Now a minute timer left to go for both these teams to hold on or to attack. AZK picks up one. The Death Boston comes down. He gets a second. Even a Graviton Surge on top of this, and Shake, yes, you'll pick up 1 kill, but you're all alone against 4.
Yeah, and he's going to get taken down pretty soon there as well. That is impressive from Solo Mid. Well, Liquid, should I say. Solo Mid. Well, I thought they were impressive on the attack. I was quite satisfied with it. But Liquid, give them the 1-up. They go 1 better, and they take the second map there as well. We have a tied series at 1 apiece here. And I don't know where TSM went. I didn't see them all on defense, Jason.
I think they took a quick break or something. Yeah, that was... Oh my god. But yeah, I think that's more credit to Team Liquid, though, to take momentum after capturing the first point, even though failing the first attack, and just carrying it through. The entirety of the Wild Wild West phase where they struggled against Energy, and then towards the end, I can see on your screen what the next map is. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. I'll give chat a couple seconds to guess what it's going to be, because I'm pretty sure they can already figure it out.
So, to be fair, this doesn't shock me any great amount from TSM to sort of go for a little bit of a weirder pick like this one. It's going to be Hanamura.
Yep.
Will be the next map. So, the 2 capture point maps continue to pop up. People keep saying it's not going to be a thing. It is a thing. It's too late to stop it. It is a thing. And obviously when they're in the pool like this one as well and you're feeling confident on it, you go for it. That's why we have a variety of maps in this pool. Not all of them, but a nice variety.
That's
true. A smattering of different game types as well for teams to show up on and, you know, test their skills.
Of different maps.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah. I think it's the Jewish word, actually.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure
really?
it is. So yeah, we'll be getting to that in a few seconds. How do we think this one's going to go down, though? Team Solo Mid so dominant on Kings Row. Team Liquid finishing in under or over a minute left to go on Hollywood. I think it comes down to a lot of these skirmishes and mostly execution. And if it comes down to execution of attacks, I feel like Team Solo Mid have it. But if it can be chaotic and a fight that's kind of broken up into different parts or different times, I think this is a good map for Liquid.
I think TSM are a team that can create some great situations on the attacking side and really just throw the enemy team into chaos. I feel like on defense, they can get carried away in their own maelstrom sometimes. I think they honestly won Kings Row off their own attack. It was that attack. The defense didn't have to be good. In fact, it wasn't even that great, but it was good enough. Then we go on to Hollywood and their attack was passable. Seems good. It was fine.
Yep.
But then their defense was just what there was none, essentially. They really struggled. We saw that quite clearly as well. I thought that on the attack, TSM did a great job of getting high ground access, you know, disrupting Liquid, pushing that payload forward. You know, obviously all basics of that mode. But then they just couldn't challenge Liquid at all there on that second one. So I don't know. I really don't know. Hanamura, I think their attacks will be creative. I think they could be very interesting. I think if there's any position where Liquid get ahead on time bank, and then like TSM have to defend for a longer period of time, it could be harder. But this is a static defense context. Payload is more of a dynamic defense where you have to sort of move with the game. This is where you sort of sat on the point defending it as well. So that's a very different play style as well.
I feel like we're re-recording Overdrive episode 1
Yeah,
here.
that's what we're talking about, right?
Talk about payloads and the dynamic defense versus a static defense of a moving objective.
Right, I got that script wrong so many times, it's now stuck in my head.
That's why we have a blooper video out of it. But we'll be hopping on to Hanamura in just a few seconds, guys. Remember, this is our final game of the night. Winner of the series will be going through to Cologne coming up in at Gamescom on the 20th and 21st, playing for a piece of $100,000 with the 4 best teams from NA and the 4 best teams from EU going head-to-head.
Can't ask for much more.
Can't.
Really, not at this stage. Maybe, you know, in the future.
Don't say Australian team. Since when is Australia? Okay. I'm sorry for anyone that's Australian out there. When have they ever won a big event?
In esports?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, the Battlefield
Yeah,
teams
that's what I
are
was trying to think. Like, if there was one.
No. No, not
One
really.
day. One day it'll happen.
Infrastructure, man.
There'll be a super team.
It's going to happen. It's never going to happen in games like League of Legends. Counter-Strike, they're okay. Well, Renegades, they're okay. They're okay. They're all right. Okay.
I think they're better
wrecking
at
NA teams
I think
for
they're
a while.
better at StarCraft with Pig over there.
Whatever. All right, StarCraft, I don't know. This is going to be the game. Overwatch is the game. All right, Aussies, step up. Let's go. In fact, anyone from any region that isn't already considered a top esports region, this is your chance to step up. All right, let's do it. Anyway, let's also jump into Hanamura and Jason. Let's get this one started. I honestly don't really know which way we're going to go with this one as well. I think we're going to get to the end of this map and wonder how we got where we got. But yeah, Torbjorn on Hanamura is actually the gold standard.
I was actually looking at Liquid. I was like, are they actually going to commit to this? A Hanzo, a Soldier, a Symmetra, and a Widowmaker? Nah, that can't happen. Please let that not happen.
I don't think it will.
Don't tell me there's been a VOD I haven't seen where they ran this comp and everyone's like, of course, Jason, they ran this just last week. What are you talking about?
You knew?
They ran this against Team Experiment back
ESL casters fail fish.
Yeah, exactly. But no, yeah, like the Torbjorn, pretty standard. We did see this actually yesterday. What Hanamura's game was this? It was Envy versus TSM, wasn't it? And
TSM
they tried running.
Envy.
Yeah, they tried running the Torbjorn, and it actually worked out fairly well, to be honest. Though they did lose the series overall. But here we go, Team Liquid on the attack. They're sticking with the Hanzo for now, and they will be switching it out in just a few seconds.
Cheeky little Sonic arrow there as well, just in case anyone was trying to spring a trap on Team Liquid as well. They want to be as quickly as they possibly can getting on towards this point. So yeah, we just see the Torbjorn on defense here for Hardblue. Again, it's not really anything out of the ordinary. Hardblue is the resident turret specialist here on this lineup, if I'm not mistaken. And again, it's going to be the Genji Tracer combo for solo mid. So Liquid have control of this high ground as well. Waz leading the way, has his AZK. Hardblue setting up his beloved little piece of equipment.
He's not animation canceling, which kind of tilts me a little bit because it makes it so much quicker to build a turret. But it doesn't matter. He's got the shield to hide behind. He's got a lot of ult percent already built up, about 36-40% now. He's going to do a lot of damage actually in your face. But Waz will take the turret down. But that focus onto the turret has allowed the rest of Team Solo Mid to do some good damage to Team Liquid.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough though. Liquid seem to be able to fight back into this one pretty comfortably, and Waz has been just completely untouched, really. He managed to go in. He jumped into the death ball that was solo mid. Backed out, killed the turret, went back in again, then goes and just kills AZK. Goes and kills Nicholas. So, all right, fair enough. Straight away, Liquid get it on the first push. Well, maybe TSM starting to rue the fact that they chose this map, as Liquid seem to be ready.
Yeah, AZK's going to have the pulse bomb. Measure going to be switched over to the Winston though, so not going to have ultimate up anytime soon. And that barrier might have gone on the wrong person because the person he put it on actually dropped straight down, but that's the turret going down yet again. Hardblue still sticking with the Torbjorn, and AZK is already able to eliminate him.
Now ID can work in from the top as well. Waz gets onto one shake as well. This is going all wrong for Team Solo Mid. They're starting to get completely bulldozed here. A pulse bomb not going to be enough. I might pick up Waz there as well. I think it was just the AoE damage that picked him up, but now the Transcendence comes in and Liquid are thinking, all right, we might just have this one held down now. Just deal with the stall, and we got this one. 4 men on the point, and now we're going to see desperation from Hardblue jumping on towards the point, backed up by a sound barrier here, but there's a Graviton Surge. Damage going to be coming in. Defense Matrix wasn't able to stop it, but it may be able to block some of the extra damage coming across. Liquid are a 6-man roster on this point. They're looking strong, and now desperately Torque trying to open the deadlock here with his Dragon Blade.
No one's dying here, Mitch. No one's died at all. Finally, Hardblue picks up a kill, and there's all the kill feed finally lighting up here for your eyes. DeHang taking on Hardblue. AZK able to pick up a kill, and just on Joe and JKW and Shake is the last 3 alive. It's just trying to hold on, trying to buy as much time as they possibly can, but you have to wonder, this just has to be the end for them. There's just no way they can pick up the kills they need to maintain this hold, as the point will be taken eventually here for Team Liquid.
Yeah, that's right. Still contested for now as well. Nicholas going to be shoved off, I think, in just a moment here as well. Every second he's not on the point is a second that Solo Mid are losing the control of it. Now, Dahang pushing back on as well, keeping his team healthy. He's done a great job because Liquid are fighting through 3 waves of Solo Mid defenders thus far, trickling in one by one. Graviton Surge comes in, Pulse Bomb's there. Additionally, AZK off towards the side again. Again, Harvey trying to get on towards the point. He's dead before he even touches it. Even the main not going to be enough for Solo Mid to hold things up. And Liquid, that's what I'm talking about. Flow themselves on towards the point. Just over 3 minutes is all it took for them to finish the entire map.
And the majority of that 3 minutes, I think a lot of it was down to that stall at the end too. So they actually bought themselves a lot of time. You have to assume that both teams will complete on the first round. Second round is where things are going to get a little bit more deadly, and you can pretty much guarantee to see it in round 3. But I don't know. Team Solo Mid, if they're not confident in their attack here, it could be down 2-1. And Team Liquid already sitting on a Widowmaker for ID, which is really dangerous considering teams never contest that front choke point. They don't contest the doorway. They actually let enemy teams run through, and then they fight for the position that they go to.
I'd like to see ID on something fruity here. What about Widow, though?
Cherry blossoms. Sorry.
It's a very lovely cinematic little camera angle here. ID switching again here as well. Still teasing us with that Widow pick. I mean, there are some vantage points for Widow, but I think the way that teams kind of play this point, where they all sort of back away onto one side of the point defending, I don't really think Widow has that many applications. It may be May, though. That makes perhaps a little bit more sense, as getting onto the actual point itself, you've got to go through the one big doorway or the small window up towards the left, and obviously not everyone can go through said window unless they walk all the way around, and even still, some people just can't jump that gap. So ID might be able to save a lot of time here, or at least cause more time to bleed by consistently blocking that door when the ice wall comes off cooldown.
The fact that they have Reinhardt too makes the main more viable, because you can stand in the doorway to actually buy yourself some time to give you the ability to hide behind the shield, but just also be a really formidable force to look at. Like, you don't have to really do any damage with Mezzer, but you see a Reinhardt and you're going to respect his area. You're not just going to walk straight past him like you would if there was no big giant shield in the way. So this will allow ID to actually do some good work with the walls. Now, Team Solo Mid's not careful, they could actually get caught out, be split in half, and lose too many people for that first attack.
It's a single tank composition, though, for Liquid. Can't really call May one of those, I'm sorry. To those enthusiasts out there as well. So Solo Mid come in with a fairly standard composition with JKW, not on Reinhardt though, which may be the one surprising fact, which also means that they don't want to poke and sort of prod at length outside the doorway. They kind of just want to go in for this one, and they probably should, because they don't have much time to spend now. Straight over towards the right side now. They're probably going to get themselves up on that higher ground if they possibly can. Shake goes low, and Harblue as well to some of the damage. JKW already out of the fight as well. They're lacking the instigator, the initiator in Winston, and there it is. It's getting a bit chilly up in this one there. Nicely set up for IID, because AZK is able to get 2 kills off the back of the freeze.
Really confused, because ID didn't even use his wall to actually stop them from coming in and split them up. I didn't really even see it be used at all, except towards the end there for a few seconds. But, I mean, in the end, it's working out for Team Liquid so far. They've been able to hold on to this first point way better. And Dahang's able to help clean up Harblue, which is by himself, who now has to wait for his entire team has to wait for him to actually come back and attack.
It's the rope-a-dope, dude. IID just slows them up, just freezes them, and AZK just plucks their head off like a cherry. Easy as that. Well, at the moment, Mezzer are not quite back yet, so you can see they just had to back away from the doorway and not sort of play the prolonged poke game there. Shake charging up a few balls here. Let's hope they hit true. No, there's another wall in the way. That's got to get annoying after a while.
Hey, but Niklas is able to take down Dahang, though. AZK finally able to respawn, so we're actually going to have an even battle between the two teams. Though ID on point is going to be trying to sit tucked in and neatly away. Harblue from the front being walled off completely, but it doesn't seem to matter because JKW, Shake, and Torek have been able to pretty much clean up everyone on the point. Team Liquid, they will fall, and they will lose this first point to Team Solo Mid, but not before taking off a good minute or two.
Yeah, I mean, reinforcements, I don't know if they're going to be really coming in any reasonable time here. Looks good for Solo Mid. They were stalled a little bit here. It does strain the time bank somewhat, and as it stands, 1 more minute and they're already behind Liquid. So that's just how fast Liquid were. That wasn't particularly slow from Solo Mid, like a 2-minute attack. But still, maybe a little bit too slow to match Team Liquid's time that they set. So, Solo Mid definitely have to get their skates on, and that's not just the Lucio player, of course. They probably should take a leaf out of Joe Meister's book and get onto this point and start capping it out.
They're on the point, but that Blizzard's going to come through, and it's going to stall up and deny a lot of area. Joe Meister is well going to be burst down. Shake has no chance with the Earth Shatter even coming through. And Team Liquid should be able to put up a good defense here. Torque just trying to run away from Waz. When he runs right to the edge of his blade. Your Gouch is going to come out of Horribly, but what's really there to back him up? And we're going to find out here as Waz still towards the backside. He's looking for anyone to kill, but this wall from his own teammate is distracting him. It's pretty much preventing a lot of his damage from coming through, but he's still not being handled. He's still not being dealt with. JKW's finally going to turn his attention towards him, but it's just a little bit too late.
Yeah, going to back away there as well. I mean, Harblu had JKW to back up his damage. That was it there as well. Deadeye comes out, doesn't catch anything, and Harblu going to punish. Oh, AZK falls down here. This could be dangerous. Solar Mid now finding another gear to shift into, and Harblu now just keeping himself alive. Somehow, against the odds, the man still stands, or the burly Russian lady still stands. It depends which way you want to swing it. And now, Nicholas takes down Mesra as well. Solar Mid are continuing to harass. They're relentless, but Liquid keep being able to reinforce this point.
Yeah, but when it comes down to how quick people can get from spawn, it's going to be Team Liquid who are going to be the ones to be able to reinforce a little bit quicker, though. Nicholas looking to have something to say about it. He gets hit in the head in the dome by ID, who picks up a double kill onto the brothers, and that might have been enough to actually hold off this point.
I think it is 4 kills in that short feed there, and Liquid can breathe a brief sigh of relief. They're not out of the woods yet, but they've managed to force Solar Mid out of the castle, and Solar Mid now fall behind them in time. So already Liquid have, I guess, outdone Solar Mid, even if Solar Mid take this second point here, which we believe, we feel invariably that should happen, especially when Solar Mid pick this map. I know there's a strategy, Jason, I'm sure. I just can't wait to see it come out.
Well, it's going to be the Graviton Surge that Harblu is about to have available. He has it now online. He's going to pop in the middle of the team, and Team Liquid are pulled together with no Transcendence in sight. Even AZK going to be using that pulse bomb to take down Joe Meister, but it's not going to be enough because Torque is going off. AZK, ID all going to fall, and Torque should ideally be able to help clean up Deheng, who's just going to be backing away towards his death. And Team Solar Mid, they will finish. They will get both points, but a minute slower than Team Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a lot worse. I think if you don't compare them to Liquid, Solar Mid set a pretty decent time there on both points. And only a minute behind here as well, which is absolutely recoverable. You can pick that minute up there quite easily on a defensive side or even a very, very fast attack here. So if you're Solar Mid, you're probably not too disappointed with that one. And this one could go quite long, Jason, here if these two teams keep showing this caliber of play on Hanamura. And only one of the Twin Dragons we're really seeing today.
Though we do have both currently selected for Team Liquid.
Yeah, but they did this to us before, man. I don't know.
There will be a day, and people have finally figured Hanzo out appropriately, where he'll be the meta. He'll be in the cookie cutter build.
Cookie cutter with Hanzo, yeah. I mean, we're actually seeing quite a lot of heroes have been part of that, and we sort of cycled through a fair few now, but not Hanzo.
One day when a support's released that can turn projectiles into hit scan, that's when we'll see Hanzo.
Is that a thing?
No, probably not.
Maybe it is. Maybe
shouldn't be.
Maybe at hyper speeds projectiles.
So then what does it do to hit scan people?
Don't know. I'm just saying, like, well, probably nothing. I don't know. But wouldn't that be cool? It's like, just makes like all your arrows go like super fast, so obviously you hit scan. I don't know, man. Just a thing. Yeah. We're in a think tank here as well while we're waiting to get this one underway. It will be Solar Mid defending here. Obviously, first point, they're still looking okay. They're a minute behind, but that, as I said, is not too shabby. IOD, really? No, just Sonic Arrow every time, man.
I'm just trying to spot out where they are. Trying to spot out if there's anything cheeky in terms of hero picks. Waz, in the meantime, is looking to take some high ground. Looking to get some damage in. I think he's not even being challenged here, so he's able to get around the corner, able to flank anyone towards the high position. He gets discorded up and does take a little bit of damage here, but it also helps ID get his energy up from that shield coming through. And honestly, Team Solar Mid, they're setting up the exact same way they did on the defense the first time, and it didn't work out the first time. Yeah,
no Torbjorn though for Harblu here as well. He's decided to go for the Xayah to make his team just a little bit more tanky, a bit more durable in these fights. Well, let's hope it works here because Liquid are wasting no time in getting into the hand-to-hand combat side of things. ID takes down Joe Meister to start with, but there's Harblu. He finds ID. Now AZK falls to JKW as well, who's also not afraid to go swinging for the fence with that hammer. Waz as well, unfortunately no one to take the attention off of him from his team, so it's going to be a successful hold for Solar Mid.
All right, so that's what they needed. They pretty much eliminated that initial minute that they were behind, and now we're basically all tied up here. So it's a fresh new game between the two teams, tied at 2 apiece. Currently 1-1 or 1-1 in the series. And Ultimates, Shake's gonna have his very soon. Nicholas also has his post-bomb available. If he flanks correctly, he can completely catch off Liquid. AZK though, he's ready. He's primed and ready to go with his pulse bomb. Yeah, and you see straight away the Winston going in there. Mesra gonna start this fight off there, but goes low and will fall pretty darn quickly. They got focused down before most of really Solar Mid could actually follow up on that one there. But there's Torque and there's Nicholas getting it done. Waz comes forward there, and there is the pulse bomb being exploded. It's ID that gets sent asunder, and that will be Solar Mid there again, holding strong. And Mitchell just trying to run away, even speed amping himself out, but doesn't matter. That's going to be TSM taking the fight, and now they're looking at a minute lead themselves into the first half of our second round.
This is really nice.
Yeah, good hold. Who would have thought? No Torbjorn, and they're able to defend. But now, ID switching things up over to Farah, trying to thread those rockets through that window needle.
Farah here, this is super interesting, but I guess Solomid aren't toting any McCrees, so, you know, there's a couple less of those predators, those apex predators that can sort of deal with a Farah in that way. IAD has so many good vantage points as well here. It's a good pick, but now we're going to see the Death Blossom come straight through, and actually Torque gets himself two at the end there. ID gets a little bit too close to the whirlwind of death and going to fall. Another hold from Solomid there as well, definitely off the back to some degree of that Death Blossom, but well followed up by the rest of Solomid here as well. They're making time.
Yeah, and at this rate, if Team Solomid can hold Team Liquid back, then all they have to do is capture the first point in 5 minutes of time. But ID is going to have his barrage up momentarily. Just give him a little bit of time here. He had to switch heroes, so obviously it's going to take him a little bit before he has his barrage available. And they're still looking for a way to just handle the way Team Solomid are defending. Even with ID coming from behind multiple times now, Team Solomid have been able to fight on 2 different fronts, from the front and the back, and still went out in the fight somehow.
Talk now as well, just challenging out there. Not afraid to go head-to-head with Waz at the moment. And AZK as well might even be his next quarry, and he does go down, but ID quickly responding. Takes down Talk, Hardblue there on towards Waz. So both Reapers are off the table for the moment here. IID, probably not the trip he intended to take there as well. The thing about this map is that you have some windows in the top of this building for Farah to shoot through, but if you really want to impact these fights on the point, you kind of have to get dangerously close to the fighting itself, and that makes you susceptible to the short to medium range heroes, like we just saw.
This is where things are going to be interesting, because look at what Liquid have. 5 ultimates ready to go in just a second. And Team still in mid. They're hoping for the Graviton Surge to be enough, but if they use it a little bit too early, Minstrel going to pop the Sound Bear, but he's going down. Joe Meister picks up a kill on the Mezer, and ID using the barrage to counter this one, but he does absolutely nothing. There's finally a man on point, but finally Harblue's going to be able to turn around the corner, get back here to help out. Dahang is waiting to use this res, but the thing is, his teammates have already spawned back in.
Yeah, it's not really worth it there as well. Solomid actually got kills quite a long way apart from each other there, so there's not really any value in getting a res. Still, Dahang will be able to keep that up his sleeve to be used a little bit later on. It's sweet, actually. It's like it's the reunition. It's the what is it? They're reunited. Dahang and IID.
It's a reunion?
Reunion. I'm terrible. It's late. I'm sorry. But yeah, but the boys back together after the Quake days now. We've got Dahang pocketing IID, keeping him going. But so far, Solomid are keeping themselves going very, very well. That engine is well and truly trugging along. And Shake now as well keeps himself safe. Or Waz goes in towards him there as well. I don't know if he was booped by one of the teammates. I don't know if Joe Master did that or just got speed boosted away.
Yeah, he was speed boosted in, and there's the barrage out of ID too. But so far, Team Solomid have been able to hold on with the back of Torque. The res is finally going to come through, but Dahang is going to fall. Torque picks up a triple, but those 2 men are going to be revived yet again. ID still in the air, going to be shot down by Nicholas. And now AZK and Minstrel trying to hold on to this point, trying to finally capture it. They have 1 minute and 15 left to go here. Team Solomid are on the precipice of full holding this first point in the second round.
Wouldn't that be incredible after the way things started off for them here as well? That's exactly what they wanted, and that's why they probably weren't bothered being 1 whole minute behind Liquid, because here, they're really setting the pace now. They hold well. Liquid are going to come back into this next fight with a minimum of ults. No Dragon Blade, no Death Blossom, no Transcendence there for them. 3 key ultimates that they really need to push through here. They're running out of time. They're going to have this push and maybe 1 more, and that's going to be about it. And now they're going to go through it. AZK takes a fair bit of damage initially, has to recall almost exactly as soon as he gets on towards the point. Waz gets on towards Hardblue, and Shake has stayed safe for the most part, switching that Harmony Orb around between his teammates. ID on towards Joe Meister, and Shake, well, helps out Talk a little bit there, getting rid of Minstrel, and another hold from Solomid. Liquid have 1 more chance, and 1 only.
And Liquid, as you can hear, ultimates being ready. It's going to be Nicholas on Team Solomid who has it available. Joe Meister's going to have Sound Bear. Shake has Transcendence. Harblu is going to have Graviton Surge. And JKW will have that Earth Shatter. He'll be able to bring the hammer down in Liquid's face as they only have the Graviton Surge on its way. This is the final attack here on Team Liquid. They need to capture this point. They didn't have the opportunity to go for the second point here. They have to hope to take a 3-2 lead.
That's right, and if this goes to overtime as well, Liquid don't get to go for the next point. They can only hope for 3 maximum. So this is it. They can only get 3 at the most here, and Liquid still need to win this fight to start with. They could already mess themselves up for the next round already. Now Liquid at least get the Sound Barrier. You can see the Graviton Surge comes down, the Pulse Bomb. They're throwing everything at Solomid, and so far it seems to stick, just like that Pulse Bomb coming out of AZK. Yes, they're going to be able to get this point, surely, but that's it. They can't continue on. They don't get a time extension for this. They've already used that.
So, Team Solomid, they held on for 5, practically 6 minutes of time here on this first point, and Liquid will only capture point 1. So now, Team Solomid have 5 minutes take not only the first point to force it into a minimum of a tie, but take that second point to close out a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, I mean, and, you know, just like you said, all they need to do is finish the map. Liquid have to hold them off for so long, but this is still a throwback. This is still throwback to Splice versus Energy. That's all Splice had to do, right? They just had to finish the map. In fact, no, they just had to get the first point. And they still weren't able to do that even, so miracles can happen here as well. Solo Mid started off this map, well, after the first couple rounds, being behind the 8 ball. They were that minute behind. Liquid had a very nice attack, but now it's Solo Mid's turn. So why not throw something strange into the works? Why not throw a spanner in the works even? See if you can catch Liquid off there. Get that first point, and all you need to do, of course, is get the second.
It's kind of a tricky situation, right? Because you could do that. You could go for that, throwing the spanner in the works and just try to catch him off guard. But then you have to think about like the transition from first point to second point. I wonder if... I mean, obviously, I think they feel pretty confident, fairly confident that the first point is definitely something that's going to happen for them. But the second point will be a little bit tricky, even though they did finish with over half the time remaining in the first half. We'll see how they go about it, because they do have the Genji, they do have the Tracer, the two brothers, and they're pretty much running pretty standard to what they did in the first half, or the first round alone on the attack.
Well, Jason, it's game on, and it's time for Solo Mid to show us what they're made of. 4 minutes 45 left, and they managed to finish the whole map in less time than that as well. So there is hope for these guys here. Liquid were lucky, fortunate, and did well to get that third point, but it might not be enough here. We have the Genji and Tracer combo coming in, so nothing too crazy. Solo Mid just going to knock on the front door, see if anyone's home. Yes, Liquid are home, but are they going to be able to hold them out? That's the question. I don't know if Lock and Chain's going to be enough to put behind the door eventually, but for now, those 2 kills are going to put Liquid on a safer trajectory here into the next push. They don't lose anyone, which is good, because they don't have to wait to reinforce them from spawn.
And JKW was able to actually escape that one, though. It's not really that big of a win for him, because, well, his teammates have already respawned back in anyways, and they're still going to have to delay this attack for a little bit of time, since Harblue is going to be the last one to rejoin his team. Team Liquid getting above that 50% marker for ultimates for, across the board for pretty much everyone. Harblue looking to soak up some damage here to build up that energy, as they're going to go for the high ground themselves. So they're going to come around the side and look to hit this point from, well, funny enough, from Liquid's point of view, from their spawn.
Yeah, they're actually, Solo Mid is split on both sides. They're trying to pincer on towards this point now. They're essentially all on top of it. And Liquid, where are they? They're backed away a little bit there as well. Waz does go down. This could be dangerous times here as well for Team Liquid, but most of them are still on the point. Solo Mid just tried to, I guess, isolate Waz and pick him up here. But the rest of the fight, not really so rosy for them here. They've lost Talk. Joe Meister just spawned in, but he's not going to be here for this fight. Nicholas has to do a heck of a lot of work as a solo damage dealer now, and here comes a Transcendence as well. So it's going to keep Solo Mid at least on their feet for the moment. They're going to go in, but there's so does the Death Boss, and the Reaper Copter is going to hit hard. AZK finds JKW and manages to catch him towards Nicholas as he heads out the door. Don't tell me Liquid hold this and win.
It's not impossible. I think we could both agree on that one. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility, but it's going to be difficult because you saw Team Solo Mid struggle a couple of times, but then able to pull it through, and it's going to be coming down to, I think, a lot of it on AZK, who really shone on Hollywood just before to really kind of hold the team together on this Reaper. But here we go. Next attack's coming up for Team Solo Mid. They're looking to maybe hit from a different couple avenues yet again. They have the Dragon Blade available out of Torque, and he's been able to do some work on it before, but will he even be in a position to do it now, because they're so clumped together in this tight area that he takes so much damage going forward.
Graviton Surge coming in now as well, and Torque has a chance at least to try and hold everyone in place while he slices them up. Much easier way to be a chef, I guess, than your target was moving. Couple kills coming for Torque here. Gets on towards ID at the end, but now he needs to follow it up. He needs to back it up. He needs to walk the walk after the sword is put away. So far, he's having a little bit of difficulty catching on towards Minstrel here, who's avoided him for the most part. Backing right on away now on Torque as well. Onto a new target here, hoping to try and at least get on towards Waz, but no, Waz goes down to JKW now. Torque going to reflect, can't really reflect too much, but maybe just enough for Solo Mid here as well. They're on the point, under 2 minutes left, but it looks like they've managed to grind Liquid down enough to have a successful fight.
It took a lot of time, to be honest, and it took a really extended attack, really extended fight to actually make that one successful. But like you said, they at a minimum have tied things up, and Team Liquid have a minute and a half to capture the second point. Sorry, Team Solo Mid have a minute and a half to capture the second point on the attack here.
Now, they don't get overtime, do they, on this point?
Yeah, no, it'll be overtime.
You sure?
Yeah, it'll take into overtime if they contest it.
I was wrong about it yesterday. I looked like an idiot, so that's fine. Good to know. Anyway, Solid Mid straight onto the point already. You can already see the Discord, and Dahang goes down. He goes down very fast, in fact, and now Talk free to look for his next target. Transcendence comes in. No Dahang on Solid Mid to respond to this one at all. So Liquid, should I say, so now he's just going to have to deal with it. Sound Barrier at least came in there for what seems like just a brief moment as Minstrel managed to use that one, and now the Graviton Surge comes right on in as well. Was that enough, though? I'm not really sure, as Waz at least does fall here, and Harbly now going to try and follow it up here. Liquid forced into full stall mode. They just had to get people up and out onto this point now. Time under a minute here. Solid Mid had to keep fighting, but now Dahang finally gets back onto the point. His Transcendence is available. Harblu considering, do I use this Graviton Surge or do I save it? Save and then uses it as well. Not many people really caught in it, and he's actually taken down here. Solid Mid running out of players and need to hold on if they want to win here.
Most importantly, they're running out of ultimates too. They have JKW and Nicholas as the last two left to go here with 30 seconds remaining. ACK even had self-destruct up, but instead, he goes for the Reaper. He wants to go for the standard damage that they're going to need to be able to pull this one through. And we're into the final attack here, Mitch. Can Team Solo Mid capture this point, or will we be going to Nepal?
The timer will tick to 0 whilst Solo Mid are on this point. So this is absolutely the last chance. There is no more opportunity here as well. This could be the map that we're looking for. They brought in the weird pick of Hanamura, but will it be enough? Waz, though, will take down Joe Meister to start with. You can see from up above the switch towards the road for Harblu. Will it pay off for Solo Mid now as well? The plucky up starts to choose such a strange map. Well, Nicholas is on the point now as well. You can hear Dragon Blade being pulled out for Talk. They're looking for targets. So far, so good for Solo Mid. Liquid have fallen here. They're going to tick down on this point, but Liquid have to run in, and they need to get reinforcements available right now, and they do. They keep it in overtime, but look how close the point is to being captured. We now have the Transcendence going off now for Solo Mid, keeping them healthy as they try and hold on. AZK zooming around, trying to do some donuts there as well, and keeps Solo Mid distracted, but he's not in the suit for very long at all. He's taken down by JKW. Now another one. Minstrel goes on, using the sound barrier to try and keep Liquid alive here as well. And you can see the damage now. Primal Rage coming out from Mezra. He needs to get onto the point, but he's backed off it. It's still contested, at least for the moment now, and Nicholas coming forward. He gets the sound barrier at least on him and going to keep him alive as Harblu even switches towards Farah. Look at this push from Solo Mid. They're hanging on. They're still there. The kill feed is full of Liquid players going down. AZK, second chance. Maybe it will work. He pushes onto the point in that Diva. He gets cut down though by Talk very, very quickly. Surely not. This overtime is still ticking. They need to get these players off, but even a Transcendence comes on towards the point. Dahang keeping himself alive. My lord, Jason, is this going to happen?
Well, we'll see. Dahang, he's the last man alive. He's finally going to fall down. It's finally Waz switches over to the fire, but it's too late. Team Solo Mid in overtime will take the point, and more importantly, they'll take the 2-1 lead. You all right there, Mitch?
No, I just wrecked myself. Why would I wreck myself now when we've still got a map to go at least?
There are two casters here.
Yeah, no, I couldn't help it. I was so transfixed on the whole process. I did throw off eventually, but
it's all good. I pretty much got a shower during that one. But honestly, Team Solo Mid, they pulled through in overtime. They even switched up to a far in the midst of that one at the end, just to make sure Harblu can get back to the point quick enough by going over the ledge, the open area, that pit, just to get back on point. They've done it. 2-1.
Deal with these.
We're going
maps,
to a final map.
Well, potentially a final map. I mean, Solo Mid look good. Liquid can pick the next one here. Oh, man. Great stuff from Solo Mid as well. To be fair, if they die at that point, it's very, very hard to, I guess, wait for reinforcements to come through. I mean, your spawn does move up towards where the first point is, but it's still a long walk away.
Especially if you can't get past the pit. Like, obviously, you have to run all the way around, go in through the main entrance. You can't kind of cut that time down. There's no shortcut for you.
So, in theory, Liquid have a much easier method, I guess, of reinforcing the points. So, ultimates like the Transcendence and Sound Barriers, they came down were really important. The fact that they got a chokehold on that point at the end there as well, it was Dahang got killed when he was quite close to having his own Transcendence. He got picked off really early on, a little bit out of position on that stairway. I think it was Nicholas who managed to jump on him.
Like, Team Solo Mid weren't really losing that many people at the end. It was just kind of like we have to keep killing them and killing them and killing them to finally get the point. They were able to contest it for the whole part, and then they'd eventually lose like 1 or 2 people who had to run back. But that overtime went for, it feels like a minute, 2 minutes of time. It was insane of how long that lasted, but Team Liquid, they just couldn't hold on at the very end in that overtime to close that one out. That would have forced a tie, and that would have forced us to Nepal, but now it puts us on Dorado, where Team Solo Mid could close this out on the 4th map. Team Liquid need this map to stay alive to have a chance to be here in Cologne on the 20th and 21st of August for Gamescom.
I don't know about Dorado between these guys as well, because I don't really know what my take would be on it here. Like, TSM, Dorado at least. I mean, we don't need to look at the matchup between these two. they've shown a proclivity, or I guess a tendency to go for some weirder picks here as well. And this is kind of a map that's maybe opened itself up to more of that, because teams are still metagaming each other right now. It's very much a one-upmanship map, especially when it comes to the strategy of actually accessing that first point itself. I mean, I'd be disappointed, to be fair, if I'm honest, if they came out super vanilla and standard and just went for the casual approach.
Well, I feel like, okay, so for Team Solo Mid, we'll start with them. I feel like Nicholas and Torque have a way bigger hero pool than Team Liquid does, with AZK in particular. He's the kind of the one who plays the McCree, plays Reaper, sometimes play Tracer, but that's mostly it. This whole Genji Tracer combo they can run, the Reaper McCree combo they can run. I know Nicholas can play Pharah, he just hasn't needed to use it so far, though we did see him just using Pharah before. Thinking about the map in general, I feel like Tracer Genji can be ridiculous. I feel like in general their combos are going to be a little bit stronger, not to mention they're probably in like literally the same room as each other playing. To be able to focus targets down, that's a huge advantage to have. For Team Liquid, I mean, AZK has a damn good McCree. Reaper's always really strong on Dorado, especially on the first point and the second point if you can position yourself correctly. And ID has a plethora of heroes he can play, though he'll probably be limited to just a couple.
I think the only thing I can remember is actually... No, it was Fnatic that... No. I remember AZK, especially actually with some strong plays on McCree on this.
So we did see Team Liquid earlier on.
Yeah.
And what they did was, or what I assumed was, they took a book or a page out of the book of Fnatic and actually were practice partners with them.
Scrim partners, yeah.
Scrim partners before this started, because the chance of them meeting was really low. They went for the aggressive defense, where they actually try to mimic and try to mirror what the enemy's team doing on the attack. So if they go into the high ground initial point, they meet you up there. If you go through main, they're going to meet you there. They don't want to give you that free access and attack on their own terms. They want to be able to dictate when the fight's going to happen. And that's hard for teams who aren't used to it to really be prepared about. I don't know if Team Solo Mid is kind of prepared for this kind of defense.
This is actually like a repurposement of the same mindset that teams used to have on King's Row a lot as well. On that first point, when you're defending, a lot of teams wanted to be the ones that decided when to fight, right? That's why the whole Lucio, the idea of this Lucio...
Speed out and attack.
Exactly. So I like that this is like, it's a concept that comes outside the game. It's all about catching your opponent off guard or on the wrong foot before they can set up here. But it's nice to see that sort of brought over to Dorado a bit more than we've ever really seen it, and then adapted in such a way where teams now are pressured heavily trying to set up on that top left side on the attack.
It's also one of the few maps you can even do it in. Just because of how easy in that marketplace it's to transition from main to the high ground. You look at Nambani, all right, so if you're going to stop them from jumping up on your high ground, all right, well, you're there, but how do you get across that open area to counters? You can't do that. You can't actually be that aggressive defense. King's Row, it's really difficult to do it because they can still come from different angles. They can still play on the high ground against you, as we saw earlier. They can flank around your entire team. It's one of the more unique maps, and I think as time has finally gone on, we've been able to see, like, all right, what heroes are good on each map, what strats are good on each map, and they've finally been, adapting, evolving as the meta does.
So, evolutions is what it's all about, and we talked about the evolution of TSM earlier on tonight as well, how they grew from Code 7 and Gale Force and back to Code 7, now in TSM. Liquid as well, I think we were having a conversation about it last week, saying they've been Liquid for quite some time, that team name.
Yeah, only 4 of them, though.
That's right. 4 out of 6 is still a decent amount, but we've sort of seen that they have had some up and down moments over the last few weeks. I think it's safe to say, even months, actually.
Yep.
Not really quite settling, here as well. I mean, with Dummy obviously departing and ID and Minstrel being brought in to sort of fill his role, and Waz, of course, now, as it may seem, or Kefri, if it even is him, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
So we're seeing them, I guess, go through their own evolution process, although they're a bit more, I guess, conservative about it. Let's hope it works out for them here.
Yeah, the timing's really kind of crap for them too. But I mean, to be fair, yeah, the timing's crap. But at the same time, they've had how many months now since the game's been out?
More than most teams.
Before then, they closed beta to find a solid 6.
I think Cloud9 is the only team that's been around for longer.
Yeah.
Both of them are ages ago.
They haven't had any roster swaps in ever, except maybe back when they were known as Google Me. But yeah, they've had the time to put a solid 6 together. It's taken them this long to get a 6 that they're comfortable to play with, but if they don't win here, will we see some roster changes? Who knows?
Well, I mean, yeah, how many more do Liquid feel like they want?
The fact that there's so many European players being imported or exported, depends where you're from, over North America to play for teams is ridiculous. I don't see any North Americans being moved to Europe. Whether that just kind of shows what the talent pool is or not.
European FPS stigma or something like that.
Maybe, but the fact is they're importing so many Europeans that maybe we might see that happen. I mean, look at Vonathil 90 Cutie for Fnatic.
Well, we'll see them. We will see them down the track at gamescom, but for now, we need to see which team's going to be joining them there. Solo Mid, 2-1 after that Hanamura, of course, win in the last second. Still working on getting my voice back. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Headphone users around the world, beware. But now, they need to show us what they can do on the attacking side here on Dorado. What kind of hijinks will they go for to get onto this first point?
Well, I want to see, most importantly, how Team Liquid are actually going to adapt to it. Are they going to go for the challenge like we saw against NRG just earlier on, where they did pick up that victory? It looks like Team Solo Mid do want to go around. Awaz again playing this position, and look at that. Immediately, you're seeing Mezzer get over there. But they've juked him. They actually pretended they were going up towards the high ground. They've got completely behind them here, and Team Solo Mid off to a strong start. Waz is not going to be able to accomplish too much other than just contesting the payload.
Yeah, we've seen this before, actually, from teams in Solo Mid. Actually, California Boys was the first team to do it in the last qualifier. Fake going up left, then punch through with the speed boost. That's quite impressive there, and it seems to have worked out for the most part. Here, Minstrel falls. No one from Liquid is here to see the result.
This is a strong start. This is looking like Kings Row all over again for Team Solo Mid. And Team Liquid have to put up good defense. They need to do something, most importantly, in this church area. They cannot afford to let too much go by. But what are they going with? They have Mezzer, so they could have the shield. And Team Solo Mid don't really have a Genji, but they have Nicholas with Pulse Bomb, and they have Torque with Death Blossom very, very soon, which is going to make it really hard for Team Liquid to really hold this high ground. They're trying to siege away. You can see these right clips coming in out of ID, the fire strikes, the shots everywhere, and they even expect someone to be coming around behind them.
Yeah, constantly checking that as well. Looking inside the church, obviously, is that a very common access point for a team that doesn't have that doesn't have a Genji. There's actually a Tracer up on the ledge there as well. So we see what Nicholas can do. He zips in, zips straight back out there as well. Doesn't seem to want any of that now. AZK going to jump down, hopes someone walks into his crosshair. Solo Mid weren't born yesterday. They also weren't formed yesterday.
If they re-engaged, if they would have speed boosted Joe Meister's team, they would have caught AZK off guard, and that actually could have been a ridiculously easy fight. But look at, I mean, they're doing it again anyways, because they got on top of the payload, they're pushing it through, and the position they've already been able to get to prevents Team Liquid from really putting up a good defense. But Mezzer, he's going to have Earth Shatter. He has the opportunity to use it, but he hasn't gone for it. There it is coming down.
All right, so that comes down now with the Transcendence going over the top there as well. So Solo Mid actually can sustain through this to quite a degree. But now the Graviton Surge comes in after the Transcendence has expired. Problem is, while that Transcendence was up, Solo Mid were able to use the healing to get rid of Liquid, so that when ID actually used the Graviton Surge, there was no one else to add damage to the pile.
Mitch, look at the time we're in. 2.5 minutes, and Team Solo Mid are knocking on the door of the second checkpoint here. Team Liquid have not put up a defense at all. Are they even here? Are they participating? Are we watching the same game that they're playing? Because Team Solo Mid are walking all over them.
And this seems like what Solo Mid was like, to be fair, on the defense on Hollywood. So here we go, swings and roundabouts, and it all flips around. Under 3 minutes, they're in the last phase here. The Lumerico doors open, and that payload is setting a cracking time. And now Liquid really need to get their stuff together. Start dotting those I's, start crossing those T's, and making sure you got everything just nailed down, so nothing gets sort of washed overboard, I guess, at this rate. Solo Mid are going to come forward, and AZK has another Deadeye to use. He'll wait until Solo Mid get up a little bit closer, but Hang picks off Nicholas as well, and that's going to reduce the pressure somewhat.
Yeah, they finally do stop the rot. They finally do hold Team Solo Mid back. It wasn't a clean team fight, it wasn't a clean victory on it, but it was one kill and enough to finally give Liquid some time to get some composure, talk things over. What do we need to do here, guys? How do we put up a good defense? We cannot let TSM finish this in under 4.5 minutes, or we're looking at, honestly, already being knocked out of the tournament. They cannot afford to lose this map, and Graviton Surge is up for Harblue, but he's really low on HP. He's have to wait for that shield to recharge back up again and look for a good opportunity to pop this down.
Yeah, now Liquid are dropping down now, sort of one after another, where you heard the Earth Shatter come out there as well, but I think it was shielded, but that's a decent Deadeye. Gets at least one. Shake goes down. He's an important piece of the puzzle. Harblue's forced to shield himself very hastily there as JKW gets killed. It's a drive by a fan, the hammer for AZK, and he'll pick up that kill, give Liquid at least a chance to set up and relax.
All right, now TSM, what do they have to attack with? Well, they pretty much use that Graviton Surge and Earth Shatter in there, and even a Pulse Bomb out of Nicholas, which netted them, well, a whole lot of nothing. But the payload is still so close. They're this far where teams really even struggle to get past the second checkpoint at 4 minutes of time. TSM, they have to hold for 4.5 minutes if they want to have this based off distance, or at least have a time that's competitive.
I don't mind this. They're actually trying to bait the rest of Solo Mid to go down, but Waz just pops straight on in there. The Transcendence, though, keeping Solo Mid alive, and that could have been a decent little foray by the man on your screen, but it doesn't quite play out like it should have. At least, though, the Graviton Surge comes on in, and Harblue, well, there's no chance for him to get out of that one. Mezra, the only player to fall so far on the side of Liquid and Solo Mid now. Okay. They've tried a few different approaches, none have worked. Where to now? They're starting to squander the lead that they've amassed by being so quick through the first two stages.
Yeah, it's still That's still a damn good time. And you know they have to be pumped, though. I feel like with every fight they lose, there's got to be a little bit of seed of doubt growing in their minds. But they have momentum. They have the morale within the team. They're on a really fast-paced time, to be fair.
Yeah, this is good.
But they have to close this one out, and that's what they're really struggling on. But they're going to use JKW in the high ground.
God.
They're going to have Torque with Death Blossom available. He's going to strafe the high ground himself, and the Deadeye is not going to be enough. That's going to be Mesra and Dahang going down. AZK's finally able to pick up one, finally able to return one kill, but is it going to be enough? As now Nicholas is going to go down. AZK is going off.
That's it. He had to back away, though, as well. He could only do so much. He didn't have much healing available for him, and Harblue managed to take down AZK and IIDs. This might be it. This might be Solo Mid pushing forward here. Just a moment. Harblue in front of the door. He's always got Graviton Surge available. He's going to be able to use that to allow them to get over the end here. Even a Transcendence for Shake. Solo Mid have everything they need to finish this off. It was a good time, Jason. Still a good time at this rate if they get over sub-7 minutes. No one's complaining about that.
And that's going to be Nicholas with the Pulse Bomb available too, but is he going to use this at all? Well, it doesn't matter because they picked up 3 kills in Team Liquid. All they have is Mesroy and Minstrel. They're going to be wiped out in the last chance defense. And Team Solo Mid have put up the time. Team Liquid need to beat this.
6:01, Jason. What are your thoughts?
Good stuff.
Yep.
I mean, what else is there to say? Team Solo Mid absolutely walked all over Team Liquid. There wasn't even a Team Liquid to even say. It was nothing. They had no problems in the first point. They juked them out. They actually faked them out so damn well that Team Liquid were left wondering what the hell just happened in the first point. Then coming into point 2, they still completely wiped them out. Even though Team Liquid was the one to engage the fight, they were able to turn that around, take the point. It just came down to the final attacks where it took them 4 tries to finally push that payload across the point. But 6 minutes. That's technically doable, but it's still going to be rough. Dorado, I think, is definitely one of the harder maps to get that kind of time.
Yeah, well, I think it's... well, in terms of longest maps, it's like Numbani as well. I think it's up there anyway. And it can definitely take some time to get towards the end, XD. And we'll see what Solo Mid can do now as they sort of move out. They managed to soak up Liquid pretty well over the last couple of points, but now they need to, again, just take more of a beating, more of a punishment and be able to spring back and hold it. We've talked a lot over the last couple of days about teams that as defenders can just sort of ride the wave and just sort of, I guess, receive a push and then spring back at them and not just, I guess, crumble being pushed.
It's going to be rough, though. I feel like Team Liquid are more of a team that once they lose control, they struggle to get it back. There was a couple of really good plays out of certain players. Like, it was something you can never really ask for consistently out of someone to stop the push. Like, it was AZK.
Is that a mindset thing, do you think?
I think it's a calling problem. Because, I mean, the thing is, I think they've traded their call around quite a few times. Like, Dummy was on the team, Vonathil originally was on the team back in the day, and he's the caller now for Fnatic. Maybe it's just the calling aspect. They haven't found an in-game leader that they need, or at least a team that can follow what the in-game leader wants all at the same time. Because you need to be able to stop that rot. You can't depend on AZK to go huge and pick up quite a few kills to be that person. To be that spark that your team needs to put up a good defense and to stop something like this. Confident
opening from Waz here as well, but maybe just a peek to get some information and see who's sitting back. Yeah, he got wrecked there as well. Was that Talk?
I think it was,
possibly. Yeah. JKW's taken a little bit of chip damage early on here, but it's definitely not going to be anything he's riding home about at this stage. The payload now stopped under the bridge, so this is the decision time for Liquid. Do they fake the left move? Do they go straight through? Or do they just keep grinding their way out? It looks like Solo Mid actually aren't doing much poke damage on them, so they've decided that we can just push through on this and be fine. Now they're going to start the fight as well. IID lays a shield down from Mesro, gets bursted the heck down. The Discord Orb must be doing some serious work here, but AZK at least can respond on towards Joemeister now. The fight is 1-1. IDDQD trying to back away, and the shield does go straight up. AZK gets his second. JKW falls, but AZK falls to Nicholas eventually, and Harblue as well, able to get his troops, rally them, and have them prepare to hold this off.
Still going to be a while, though, for Team Solo Mid to reinforce this. Team Liquid to be a lot quicker. Waz is still just buying some time, but it's going to be Harblue. It's going to be Nicholas to hold on to the point, hoping for the teammates to get here in time, but that doesn't matter. They've taken a minute 20 away already. It's going to be probably around 2 minutes before they even capture the point at this rate, and that makes it that much more easier for Team Solo Mid to close out the series.
Solo Mid have enough time to reinforce this one. Only just. You can see the now start to pour in. Graviton Surge coming out here as well. Dahang just keeping well clear of that particular hazard. He couldn't even use his Transcendence. He didn't have it up at the time. Now Dragonblade comes out for Waz, and I think Dahang's just going to try and keep the Ninja healthy, but that doesn't last forever. Nothing does, I guess, at that rate. Now Waz forced straight on back as well. You can see the lance, of course, of Harblue coming on out. This is impressive from Solo Mid. Not only is this impressive, this might just be what gets them to Cologne.
Well, let's see. They have 3 big ultimates here, Mitch. They've got the Earth Shatter, they got the Death Blossom. Team Liquid, they're gonna have a Graviton Surge up. AZK and ID need to pull this one off perfectly, even with Waz, just to dash through them time and time again. The Team Solo Mid looking to be aggressive. They're trying to speed boost Nicholas in, but that's fluffed it. That actually nets them absolutely nothing except wasting an ultimate, wasting a speed boost. But Nicholas somehow gets Waz, who was a little bit overcommitted. And now Team Liquid down a man. Have to be careful.
And what's perfect there as well is a Solo Mid go for such an aggressive gambit and don't lose anyone in the process. Nicholas was shielded up there, coming forward by Harblue. So no harm, no foul. They get themselves a kill. Sure, they use the Death Blossom, but they've got other ults to back it up. They've got Transcendence, Sound Barrier, and Earth Shatter. Let's see if they come out now as well. Graviton Surge being used, and AZK desperately trying to get some damage done, but no, it won't be enough. The Transcendence is going to block him, and JKW just puts down the hammer and finishes him off. This is Team Solo Mid holding on. This is Team Solo Mid shutting the door in Liquid's face. They're not going to get to Gamescom at this rate, not when 2 minutes and 50 seconds have already elapsed, and Solo Mid have not let them get past the first checkpoint.
Well, they're even struggling to capture this first point right now, and you have to wonder, Team Liquid, what's going through their minds? What's going on in their comms? They need to make this play happen. They have half the time to go. 3 minutes they've already been taken away, and they have 3 minutes left to work with. Your Graviton Surge is going to be used yet again, out of Harblue this time. Not much backup though, because the Transcendence will be there, and I have to hang to keep them alive, and Waz is trying to make something happen, trying to slice and dice his way through not only these heroes, but also TSM to allow Team Liquid to take this to a 5th map. Finally, the blade will be put back in the sheath, but so will Team Solo Mid put back home in spawn, as his payloads most certainly should be able to cross the line.
Yeah, I mean, with 30 seconds left on the clock here as well to take this first point. That's quite grim when you realize that Team Liquid, the Team Liquid, were almost completely full held. Yeah, they're going to get across the line here as well, but they're already halfway into this time. Not good, not remotely good. They need to blitz through this church phase, and even more so in the end there as well, through the Lumerico building. Otherwise, they're done.
Ooh, Waz. Oh, he's going to be spotted out. I was going to say, if he doesn't get noticed, that's going to be really good for him. The dash for the entire team. Not to mention just be able to get those shurikens out, ideally be able to take Shake out of the equation. But because Team Solo Mid died towards the statue and actually past the statue, they were allowed so much time to get on this high ground. And again, Nicholas running forward with a Death Blossom, only able to help get the assist on Mezar as even the Earth Shatter came in. But Team Solo Mid, no, we don't need to win these fights. We just need to stall. We need to buy some time. 2 minutes left to go here for Team Liquid to not only capture this next checkpoint, but to finish off this game.
Or they can just win the fight as well if they want to.
Do that as well.
The thing is, right, Team Solo Mid all went down forward of the fountain, right? So by the time the payload got to that first checkpoint, Solo Mid could set up and actually play that more aggressive defense on the ledge above the church, and they could jump off and catch the payload there. So they get another fight now as well when they can, as it gets close to the bridge, where they can essentially do the same thing.
The thing is, they're just fighting on the payload every single time. Yeah, it's a defender's advantage because of the extra healing, but they know they keep it contested. They don't let it keep slipping by. It's going to be looking good. Torque's going to take down to Hang. That's going to be no Transcendence even being used. He was at 95%. He almost had it available for this fight, which could have been the big turning tide, and Mezar's going to go down as well. Team Solo Mid are winning this fight again. Waz can't do anything. 1
minute remains here for Liquid to finish the whole map. It seems almost impossible, especially at this rate, while Solo Mid are just keeping them under their heel. JKW gets 2. The 1 minute warning does come straight on in here, and Team Liquid are not giving up yet. How could you give up at this point when your hopes of a Gamescom berth are dangling in front of your face, slowly getting further into the distance? Now Liquid need to dig deep.
With an Earth Shatter coming in, that might be the final hopes as well. JKW again looking for another clean kill. Her AZK is going to take down Shake, but honestly, the payload is still being held, and with 30 seconds to go, I think that's going to be it. I don't think there's any chance Team Liquid can finish off this game. The time, they just don't have it, and they don't have the plane tickets to come here to Cologne to play for the $100,000.
Not looking that way at all. AZK desperately trying to plug away here with the Hellfire shotguns, but it's just not going to happen. It's not possible. Team Solo Mid, a few months ago, no one had heard of them. Code 7, who are they? Well, guess what? Solo Mid are here to stay, and we're even going to see them in Gamescom. Time is up for Team Liquid. AZK can spin all he wants, but that helicopter's never getting off the ground. We're not at this stage anyway. It won't be headed to Cologne. Congratulations to Solo Mid. It's a 3-1 victory here in the final match of the NA Regionals.
And Mitch, it's been 5 weeks. 5 weeks with EU qualifiers and NA qualifiers on the Monday, Tuesday, the Wednesday, Thursdays, all in a row, all leading up to this point to now have our final 8 teams. Our 4 teams from North America now are Envious, Cloud9, Fnatic, and TSM. And reigning from Europe, it's going to be Misfits, Reunited, Creation, and Rogue. And I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's minds that we have the best 8 teams in the world participating in this tournament.
That's right. It was a grueling process putting all these teams through the grinder, trying to see how to separate the wheat from the chaff, as it were. But we got there in the end. Ladies and gentlemen, This has been an absolute pleasure to bring you these qualifying matches as well. It's been one of the more exciting qualifiers that I've ever been a part of, and definitely a tough one for the teams who have to play a first qualifier and then a regional. But those that have made it through are definitely the best in their respective regions and are going to show us some incredible stuff at Gamescom. Just want to thank you all for watching on behalf of myself, Jason, the production staff, and of course our friend D-Man. It's been an absolute pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, and we'll see you at Gamescom.